Hey guys, how we going? So my name's Ashley, and I own a company called One Web Design. So basically, we do stuff like web development, WordPress, and SEO. So today, I thought we would do a free live SEO audit. So a bit of background on myself. So I actually also own a company called Harwood's Lawn Care. So we started 4 years ago and had, throughout that time, I was building our website for that, doing all the SEO for that, the marketing for that. And I actually took a really good liking to it. So basically, what I'm doing now is uh, doing web design, SEO, that sort of stuff. Predominantly, the SEO marketing side of things is my, where I shine, and had pretty good success with our company. For example, we're ranking. Let's get this up, and I can show you our rankings. So we've got Instant Lawn Hobart. So we've got our Google Ads there, pay per click, but we're ranking second for that. So we've only got our SEO game. So we've just gone through that. We began that the 1st of March. So we're about, 2 months into that. So basically our rankings are still marinating. So Google just picking up, the different, so a bit of backstory. So basically we had, open this up. So basically what we had Harwood's Lawn Care, then the city name, and then the service. So the problem with that is that we had a massive issue with duplicate site content. So basically the same content, so the text, but duplicated about 50 times for each suburb in our service area. So that was a big issue, and limited our rankings quite significantly because Google hates duplicate content. So what do we got here? So we had to change the entire site structure, the architecture, to be able to get higher rankings for this website. So right now, that's just marinating. We are climbing in terms of the rankings quite quickly. As I said, we're in second place for the instant lawn. Another one was hedge trimming Hobart. So we were second, still are second here. So this is a feature snippet here. It's a different thing. So that's basically how your HTML is formatted. But they picked that. We had the image for that. Google was testing that out for about a week, but it changed the image. I'm pretty sure we're still ranking first. Yep, first for the image there. So look, I'm just going through all this just to show you that, I do have an idea of what I'm doing here with the SEO stuff. Design, I'm not amazing, but it's not terribly bad. But we're going through things like conversion rate optimization. So what that means is, allowing people to know that this is a button to click to book a quote, things like that. So we just went through a test, and we've just implemented the changes now and just waiting for the results because we're analytic based in terms of testing this stuff. So we'll test it, we'll wait a month, we'll check the results. So we'll go into analytics, we'll compare, whether it's a 30-day period or a 3-month period. and then see if our conversions have increased. So what I mean by a conversion is someone clicks on this button and then they submit a contact form to reach out to get a quote from us. So that's a conversion. So what we had before is this just standard button just here. And yeah, we changed it to this one here. So the big change is it pops up like this, comes in from the bottom, so people know, like, you know, it's moving, it catches their attention. But then also the shadowing here, to sort of look like it's raised out of the page, so people sort of know. And then the difference in the color when you hover over it. So we've had I've checked analytics, so it's pretty good with that. It's starting to see an increase in form submissions, so that's good. So yeah, so it's basically just to go an overview of, you know, it's when I say this stuff, they actually know what I'm talking about. So today what we're going to do is we're actually going to audit the website of the guy that actually got me into this industry 4 years ago. So his name, I believe, is Martin from Mowing and Growing. So he is on YouTube. That's how I found him. What do we got? Google.com. So I thought I'd give back a bit, and yeah, do a free SEO audit on his site. So why would someone need an SEO audit? So in the example that I just gave before, showing our rankings from my other company, as you can see, so Google is intent based. So for example, if someone is searching lawn mowing service Hobart, or lawn mowing service Central Coast, or lawn mowing service Sydney, it's intent. So they want a lawn mowing service. So it's quite important, you know, to have strong SEO foundation, because it's like, rather than someone doing informational based like search for, like, so for example, how to mow a lawn, that's different. So that's like someone just trying to find out, you know, how to do it themselves, whether it be in a lawn mowing company or a homeowner or whatever. They're looking to, you know, get information based on that. So when someone types in, you know, hedge trimming Hobart, they want a hedge trimming service. So to be at the top is quite important. It's something like, I don't know the exact statistic, but it's something like 60% of all the clicks go to like the first position. So it's quite important to be up in the top position. And then obviously you generate leads, generate sales. So yeah, you definitely want to be in that top position. So for example, let's just say, you know, Google didn't know that you offered hedge trimming because you don't have a page on your website for hedge trimming. That's an issue, because you're missing out on a piece of, you know, the market for hedge trimming. Same thing if you offered lawn mowing services. So if you had your website, let's say your website was ABC, you know, Google, unless you have the words lawn mowing, that sort of stuff on your website, Google's going to have no idea that you offer lawn mowing services. So it's really important to have a strong foundation for your website using SEO, which is search engine optimization. So we'll go in and we'll just run through the process that I've used to get the rankings we have, to basically give you a foundation of how you could do this yourself. So the first thing we need to do is have Google Analytics. So Google Analytics basically measures how many visitors have come to your site, all that sort of stuff. What's your bounce rate? So how many people went to your page and then clicked out of your page and then went to someone else's page. how many page sessions or people actually engaging with your content. So for example, if someone went to a lawn mowing service and then went to your about page and then your contact page, that would be 3 pages per session. That's a strong indicator to Google that your content is valuable. So having Google Analytics is super important. But another reason why Google Analytics is super important is the goal conversions. So how many people actually went to your website and submitted a contact form, like how many people reached out to you, and you can measure that in Google Analytics. Another thing that is important to have if you have a website is Google Search Console. So Google Search Console basically allows you to measure what's going on with your website within within Google, like with Google's Google Search. So, for example, you can measure each individual page. You can measure how many, what keywords are coming up, like what ranking keywords. Probably easier to just show you. So we can have a look at this. Signed in. Confirm. So this is Google Search Console. So this shows you how many people have clicked on your website on Google Search, how many people have seen your website on Google Search, what's your average click-through rate, and your position. So this is just an overall view of your website on Google. So this is worldwide, so you can get down to country, specific country. You can show what all of the metrics there, what keywords you're coming up for, what's the click-through rate of those keywords, positions, and then you can get down to your pages, so head streaming service, and you can show where you are on the Google and what's happening. So this is an important tool to measure what your progress is on Google. So it's important to have this set up, because what you want to do is you want to do SEO based on data. Like you need, you can't just guess your way through and sort of shoot from the hip. You need to know what's actually happening. For example, if you if your keyword you want to rank for is lawn mowing services, Central Coast, you need to know if you're even showing up for that keyword, and this is where Google Search Console comes into that. So that's Google Search Console. There's also Bing Search. So Bing is just another search engine owned by Microsoft. So you need to have Bing as well. So it's just like Bing is like, I think, the default default search engine for like Internet Explorer, like Mac, not Macs, PCs, that sort of stuff, Internet Explorer and that. So if people aren't so tech savvy, they're most likely inclined to use Internet Explorer, and then Bing is the default search engine there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain that's the case. So it's the same thing. You want to be on Bing search as well. So you basically just create a Bing webmaster account and you submit your site and your details to there, you'll have to go through a verification process, same as with Google Search Console and Google Analytics, where basically you put a snippet of code onto your website and then they will read that snippet of code and confirm that you actually own that website. So they're the main things, like, for what you need to do to be able to do SEO on your own site. So we don't have obviously access to that. This is just from an outside view of Mowing Growing's website. So what we'll do is we'll conduct the stage 1 of the audit of the site. So stage 1, so we need to make sure that we haven't got any core issues on the website. So what do I mean by core issues? So things like, is the site redirecting to the preferred protocols? So you have like different protocols. So your main protocol is just HTTP, which is the hyper text transfer protocol, I'm pretty sure. But so that's just like your default sort of protocol for a website. So there's another protocol called HTTPS, which is basically just a secure protocol for transferring the data over the internet. So what we need to make sure is that there's not 2 versions of the website, a HTTP and a HTTPS. So what we can do, the way to check that is pretty easy. So you just go to Google Search Console, and we'll just quickly get his site. So we'll get that, we'll just copy link address. So the way to see if your site is redirecting to the preferred version, which is the HTTPS, it's a big it's a big ranking factor, but it's a good portion of ranking factor of to rank on Google. So what we need to do is just type in site : paste in the website. So you can see there it's HTTPS for its ranking there, but we just want to see if it's showing, if Google has indexed this site. So what I mean by index, so you have a website and then you have pages on the website and you can tell Google whether you want to index them or not. So what I mean by index is actually show them on Google. So like this, so we typed in Mowing Growing, the home page is showing up, the About Us page is showing up. These are indexed. So if you had it as no index, this would not show up on Google. So we can type in site : the www, click enter, and this will show us all the pages that Google has indexed for this domain, for this site. So here we are, and we can see down the bottom on the left hand side, we can see HTTPS. That's good. That's what we want. Awesome. So these are all the pages that are showing up on Google. Looking good. So that's fine, that's redirecting. Another way to do it is using a program called Screaming Frog. So basically what that is a spider, like the Google spider that goes and crawls the website and retrieves the information that we sort of want for this. So we can fire up Screaming Frog, which is just off screen for a sec. And then we can paste that website in. So what we can do is we can just do the www, Actually, http:// So what we're doing is we're telling the spider or screaming frog to go to the HTTP version of the site, and what we want to see is we want to see a redirect to the preferred version, which is the HTTPS. We can do that, start that. So straight away we can see HTTP 301, which is just means it's a status code, which just means it's redirecting, and it's redirecting to the HTTPS, which is the secure version of the site. So that's very good. So we can clear that and close out of that for now. So that's a good. So we can mark that as a pass. So that's good. There's not two versions of the website being indexed. That's great. So what we need to do is we need to check if it's secure. So how to check if it's secure? What you want to see is the HTTPS in front of the URL, and you want to see that lock pad there. So that's fine. It's secure. Again, it's a ranking factor for Google. They want their start, if they're promoting a website, which is what they're doing, they want to make sure that their users are going to a secure website, so someone can't steal their information when it's sending data from the website to the user, the end user. Alrighty. So page speed. So page speed is a ranking factor for Google. So how long does it take for your page to load when someone clicks it? So what we can use is we can use a program or a website called GT Metrics. So what this does is it just basically, you give it a URL, it'll try to connect to that website, and it'll tell you how long it took for everything to load. So what we want to aim for is metrics. What we want to aim for is a page speed of 3 seconds or less. So what we do is we can just log in. And we can put the site in. Now, just don't forget to change your location of where where the location it's doing the test from. So, for example, if it was doing the test from Canada, it's obviously going to take longer. So you want to change. These are most lawn mowing businesses. They're usually the only people that are looking them up is in their location. So if you're located in Australia, you want to test from Australia. Like someone from Canada is not going to be looking for for lawn mowing service from Sydney. So we just want to make sure that we're in our location, which is Australia, and then we just click analyze. So it's just adding it to the queue. But as I said, we want to aim for a page speed of 3 seconds or less. So it's just analyzing that now. Alrighty, so we got a 3.8 seconds. So we can, have some improvements here. Usually you find the load speeds higher. There's many reasons why it could be. This gives you a bit of information in regards to sort of what's going on. I tend to keep away from this stuff. Like it does show you what you need, like leverage browser caching. So basically it just loads your site faster. So if you just go to waterfall, this is what you should look at. So this tells you exactly what's going on, like why is it taking so long to load. It shows you the individual things that it's loading and why it's taking so long. So here you can see blocking, sending, waiting, and receiving. So we can have a look. So these images, it's taking half a second to load these images. So when you leverage browser caching, you will all this stuff will load a lot faster. I find with the sites that I've ordered, I find that the custom sites that are custom built using HTML, JavaScript, those sort of stuff, they actually load a lot slower than what something would say on WordPress, which is a content management system. So if we have a look here, it's fine. So there's a few things that need to be done. The biggest one is leveraging the browser caching. It's going to be a big improvement on the site's performance. Also the size of the file, so you can have an image compression software, something like what is it? It's the one with the panda. What is it? Tiny PNG, that's it. So something like Tiny PNG, you basically, when you upload, you can put your photos into their website. They'll spit back out a compressed version of that image with not much quality loss. And then you would use that image, like serve that image when you go to the website. So page speed, so we need to do a bit of optimization here in terms of the page speed. So that one is a fail for the page speed, which is not too bad. Like it's 3.8 seconds. You get worried, not worried, but it becomes a big issue when you're waiting, 20 seconds for a website. So it really depends what's going on the site. So if you're like calling out to like if you're loading a video from YouTube and it's being loaded to the website, that increases the speed. That increases the time that it takes to load the page, stuff like that. So you can do things to be able to make the site faster through plugins, that sort of stuff. So that's a fail for that one. So Google Analytics, so if you've got that set up, you definitely need that set up. You need to be tracking your conversions, all that sort of stuff, because if you make a change, you don't have that set up, you have no idea if it worked. Like you have nothing to base it on. Conversion tracking, so you definitely need that. So there's two types of conversion tracking. So you need offline and online. So what do I mean by offline conversion tracking? So basically, if someone comes to your website and they call this phone number, you need a way to be able to measure that. So what you can do is you can use programs that basically, they will display the phone number here, but if someone was to click this on a mobile phone or anything like that, it'll actually call a different number, but it'll be redirected to the actual phone number. And then you can plug that into Google Analytics, and then it can show you how many people actually called you from your website. Another method would be where you say like, oh, hey Ash, like someone could just call it, they're on desktop and they just call the phone number. That's why it's good to have a good CMS, CRM, customer relationship management system. So with that, you have a script. So if someone answers, someone calls, you say, hey, it's Ashley. Yeah, we can help you out with the booking to get a quote. How did you find out about us? And they'll say, oh, we were just on your website. We just called you from there. So you can get that information from that as well. So where are we at? So that's offline conversion tracking. So online conversion tracking, we've touched on that a few times. So with online conversion tracking in Google Analytics, you can set it up so that if someone goes to a specific page on the website, it will measure that as a conversion. So what does that mean? So if someone came to Mowing Growing and say they wanted to book a job, they click book a job, they fill out this form here. I'm not sure, I'm not going to send one, I'll test it a different way, but they fill out the form here, and it's like, and you want, once they fill out this form, you want it to redirect to a thank you page. So it basically just says, hey, we've received your quote request, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Thank you for reaching out. But more importantly, we can put that page into Google Analytics and say if someone goes to this page, that means that they've submitted this form. There's no other possible way that they can get to this page unless they sort of went to the URL and just typed in thank you, search. So there's nothing there. So I don't believe that there's a thank you page, like redirecting. Sometimes you have like a CRM that they'll give you a code snippet, and you put that code snippet into your website, and it generates this form here. And then it sort of just gets plugged straight into your CRM. That's good, but if it doesn't allow you to, be able to do a redirect, so some of these CRMs have the ability to go to a specific page once they press the submit button, which would be the thank you page. So you definitely want the thank you page for the same reason as the offline conversion tracking. You don't know if it's working, like you have no idea. If you do all this work and put SEO into your website, you have no idea if it's actually working. The whole point of doing all this SEO and everything is to get more leads in. So yeah, you definitely want the conversion tracking. I'll probably make a video on how to set all of that up to give you a really good idea of that. So Google Analytics, we're not sure if that exists. I'm going to assume it does, but we don't know. That's cool. Actually, there's actually a way that we can see if Google Analytics is in stores. If we go back to GT metrics, and we can have a look at the waterfall, we can actually see what the individual, what's connect, like what it's reaching out to and all the rest of it. So if we have a look, and there should be I think it's a .js analytics. So if we take a look and find that, can't quite see it just yet. Gone. It doesn't look like there's analytics. That'd be easier if I was looking on this up here. Google Analytics, there we go. So there is Google Analytics there. That's cool. So we can put that as a yes. So it's a pass. Online, offline, can't really tell that from the outside unless I've submitted a contact form, but I don't want to mess that up. I don't want to mess that up, but I don't want to do that. So we'll just put that there's an NA. Alrighty, so call to actions. So call to actions are a really big part of SEO. So if you want a call to action because you want them to take a specific action. So for example, someone clicks on goes into Google, types in lawn mowing Central Coast. They land on the homepage like here, and we want a call to action. So why do we want a call to action? So Google, if you have your conversions tracked in Google Analytics, Google knows if someone has converted. So it's if the whole point, like it's serving, it's trying to serve, Google's trying to serve their customers well. So if someone has gone onto Google, typed in lawn mowing Central Coast, Mowing Growing has popped up, someone's clicked on that, they've went onto the homepage, they've clicked book a quote online or book a job, they've filled in that contact form, they've submitted it, and it's registered as a conversion in Google Analytics. That's a high indicator to Google that that you have served the intent well for that customer. So it's a strong signal to Google that your web the website that it presented to the customer was of high value because they went through the process and went to the desired result. So that so where were we at? So yeah, call to actions. So something like for example, our website for the hedge trimming. So someone types in hedge trimming Hobart, they land on this page. What page are they on? Hedge trimming Hobart. Cool. Whether you need your hedges reduced in height or are looking for a natural manicured look, our hedge trimming professionals can have your hedges looking fabulous within hours. So it's telling the customer exactly what they're going to get, like what page they're on, what's it about, what are they going to get. And then this is what we call a call to action. So basically, what action do we want them to take? Click here to book an instant hedge trimming quote today. So that's the action that we want them to take, to book a quote for hedge trimming. So having a call to action above the fold. So what I mean by above the fold is having the call to action center, top of the page. You've got it up here, but if you load a page, you want it directly, where the eye level is going to be at, so they know. So here you could have lawn mowing services Central Coast, and then book a free quote here today on the right hand side. We've just gone through this with our website, so we just had basically a button like this one on the right hand side at the top here. And what we found is that people were going to the page, but they were scrolling all the way down. So they were consuming the content. They were having a look at the reviews, what we offer, a few before and after photos, But the problem is that they were coming all the way down to the page and then scrolling all the way back up to click contact up the top. So that's a strong indicator that these call to actions are not standing out enough. They don't realize, or either they're not reading them, they're not taking notice of them, or they don't realize that they can click the button to book a quote. So it's actually, we're making it hard for people to do business with us. It's a big issue. So definitely want to call to action above the fold. Same thing is for mobile devices. So this is desktop, so mobile. We can shrink it down to sort of see what it'll look like on a mobile. So this is pretty good. So again, where are we at? Mowing Growing, call to action, phone this number, call us to book a quote today. So that's pretty good. You could make this stand out a bit more, but there's still something there for them to take action on. So it would probably just be to implement a call to action in this slideshow here, just above the photos, just for them to book a quote online, whether even it's just a button to say book a job now. They can click the button and then we'll go to the book to the job. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to book a quote. So I'll do that as a fail on that because it's not on the desktop, so it can be improved, but it's good that it's on the mobile. So what do we got? Robots doc text. So robots.text is basically just text that tells tells robots. So Google's robot, so spider. It's the same as screaming frog. That's a spider. So it basically goes into the website and checks if it has permission to be able to crawl this website. So it's really important to have your robots.txt. It gives the ability to block the robots or Google from accessing specific pages. So it could be like for WordPress, you don't want Google to be indexing your WordPress admin login page. Like there's no point to it. So to test if you have a robot.text, you just do /robots.text return. So we don't have a robots.text. We want to fix that. So what's a robot text look like? So this is what a robots text looks like. So you tell it where your sitemap is, which we'll cover in a second. User agent, so basically who is allowed to use your site. So if you just wanted only Google to be able to crawl your site, to be able to index your site, you would just put google.com. I don't know the exact one, but there's plenty of examples available. So you would just use, you could do that. If you do the star, that means anyone can crawl your website, which is fine as well. And then disallow, so the pages you don't want search engines and spiders to crawl, so things like your WordPress admin, there's no point for it to crawl, there's no value in it at all. And there's a few other ones, the feed, that sort of stuff. So that's robots.text. To do that, it's just basically a text file hosted in the root directory of your website. It's literally just a text file, and then just contains that text that I showed you then. There's no code or anything like that. It's literally just a text file. So I'm going to give that a fail. So you definitely want to fix that up. It's really simple. So your XML sitemap. So an XML sitemap is basically telling Google what pages are on your website. So it's really important to have a sitemap, and we can test to see if we have a sitemap by just doing / and then type in sitemap dot where we go to XML, enter. So we don't have a sitemap either. So you definitely want to get a sitemap. Like it's super important because it tells Google what pages are on your site. So to give you an idea of what an actual sitemap looks like, we can have a look at our site. So this is what a sitemap looks like. So it tells you what the site address is, when was it last modified, and what's the priority. So the priority is basically how far from the root domain is that link. So what do I mean by that? So to give you an idea, you'd have your root domain, which is Mowing and Growing, and then the next level down would be, say, services. So it'd be Mowing Growing /services, and then the next level down would be Mowing and Growing /services lawn mowing. With your crawl depth. So you want to have your most important pages as close to your root directory as possible. For example, Gardener's Home at Taz. So with the sitemap, what you can do is you can go and to Google and type in sitemap generator. Sitemap generator, and then just an XML sitemaps, that one there. And what you do is you just put in your URL, website, we say start, and what it will do is it will crawl your website and then it will create an XML sitemap for you. So once this is done, all you do, once it's finished, so it's finished, it's picked up on 9 pages, so we can view sitemap. So these are the pages that it found. This one is an issue, you don't want that. It looks like the web designer has created, this is a custom website, by the way. So what I mean by custom, just it's been coded in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, rather than using a content management system like WordPress, Wix, what's the other one? Squarespace, and there's other ones as well. So yeah, that's, you shouldn't have a dedicated page for that, but anyway, that's fine. What are we doing? Sitemap. So yeah, so this has just generated a sitemap for your website. So all you would do now is just press download your sitemap and then upload that file to your root directory of your website. And it's just like your robots.txt file, but instead of a .text, it's a .xml. And then that way, once you do that, you can then upload that sitemap to Google, and then it will be able to say, okay, we now know what's on the site. We know what pages are on the site and be able to index it properly. So we got here. So we're going to say fail for the sitemap. So all these things, like there's core things that just a site just needs, and this is what we're going through. So like the sitemap, like the robots.txt. Now to say that, oh, you don't have a sitemap, you know, your site's gonna, like, it's gonna massively affect your website. Like it's these little things that add up. You know, so instead of being, say, in position 5 on Google, which Mowing Growing is based on the search that I did. So if we can say more mowing Central Coast, type that in. Mowing Growing, local search, amazing. Like you couldn't ask for any more than that. So that's first, that's great. But we come down to organic search results, and you know, we're position 5. So there's things that we can do to fix that up, but we'll go into that in a sec. But like all these things add up to get into this first position. So XML sitemap. So we haven't, there is no sitemap, so it hasn't been submitted to Search Console. It hasn't, it's not included in the robots.txt. So once you created your sitemap, you uploaded your sitemap, you would list it in your robots.txt of where it is. So it just lives in the your root domain, and then sitemap, sitemap.xml. Oh, sorry, that's the sitemap, robots.txt. So you tell, so any robot that's crawling a page, you tell it exactly where the sitemap is, so they can then map out all the pages on your site. Sitemap, where the sitemap exists, and then that way can go straight to there and know exactly what's on the site, so it can begin the indexation process and working out what your site is about. So we're going to, that one's a fail because there's no sitemap there. So fail. So you want, so the website's submitted to Search Console. I'm going to assume it is submitted to Search Console just because the Google Analytics have been done. So usually you do them at the same time. So I'm going to give that a pass. All right, so another big thing is your content. So how much content is on your website? So Mowing Growing obviously puts a lot of time and effort into the videos, as you can see. As you know, YouTube channel, heaps of videos, which is great. So that's one form of content. But here we want to look at, you know, text content. So what content do we have on our site that's text-based? It can be videos as well incorporated in there. So if we have a look, it's, you know, it's pretty thin content. Well, there's no content. There's only just about the services and all that. So why do we want content? So we want to create content so we can become an authority on a topic. So for example, our website, we've begun investing heavily in content. So here we have our gardening guides. So here we have all our gardening guides revolving around specific plants, how to take care of them, what they're like, the plants themselves, the different varieties, what are the common problems with the plants. For Google to see this and see, you know, a blog and it's just full of valuable content on plants that are very, you know, there's a reason why we pick these specific plants, because they're really common in Tasmania. It gives us topical relevance. So, you know, if you've got 25 large guides that are teaching people on how to take care of plants, what would that tell you? That you're most likely, you know a lot about gardening, and that you're a gardener. You know a lot about gardening. So it's positioning us as an authority in the marketplace for gardening. So for example, with this, so what you want to do is you want to be able to produce content. So it can be videos, like, you know, you've got heaps of videos teaching, you know, small lawn mowing businesses, you know, how to sort of get a leg up, what it's like to be in the industry, that sort of stuff. So you can, you know, you can do the content for that, but you want to have some sort of content strategy, whether it be teaching, you know, what are the top 10 tips, or what are the top 10 mistakes that I wish I didn't make when I started my lawn mowing business, stuff like that. You know, it just needs to be around the general topic of lawn mowing. So it could be 5 mistakes you make when mowing your lawn. So it could be like you're mowing your lawn too short, or this sort of stuff, and then you teach people how to avoid these mistakes. But it needs to be valuable to the end consumer. So when you do stuff like that, you'll show up more in Google. You'll get more traffic to your website. So if you've built all this stuff out, and let's just say you have 1,000 people going to your website and consuming the content on your website, whether it be videos about the lawn mowing, be text-based, so it could be, you know, all your guides on lawn mowing, lawn care, that sort of stuff. And then you have your competitor, and your competitor has a website and 10 people go to it a month. What site do you think that, you know, Google is going to find more valuable and put high in the search rankings? And it'll be the one with 1,000 visitors. So it's like user-based metrics. So by the looks of it, there's not really a content budget that exists, like, you know, other than the videos and that, which are good, but something like text-based that you can use to promote your business, to inform your customers, and to begin to build a relationship with the customers. So I'm going to say that one's a no. So website. So is your website easy to edit? And straight away I'm going to say no for that, because you need someone that understands how to code websites, like understands HTML, JavaScript, all that, to be able to make any changes to this. So you need a web developer to do this. So for example, if I wanted to, say, edit ours with the content management system, I could do it in seconds, where this one, you know, with the custom coded website, you know, you can do more with it, because you can add different functionalities, like, you know, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Like, I've done web development myself, very, very basic, but I've built websites that, you know, have a back end and reach out to APIs, all that sort of stuff. It's just a pain to be able to work with that stuff. It's a big bottleneck. So I'm gonna say that no, it's not easy to edit, because we need a very, you know, special skill set to be able to do that. So what have we got? Keywords. So what are our keywords? Alrighty. So what we can do is we can use something called Ahrefs. Get out of here. So what this does, this enables us to see what keywords we're actually showing up for. Where are we? Take the website, Site Explorer, domain, and this can show us what keywords, how many keywords we're actually ranking for. And what they are. So in stage 2 of an SEO audit, what we would do is we would go into the website and we would basically map out what are the most valuable keywords for your business. So for a lawn mowing business, you know, let's just say, for example, that you created a page for lawn mowing, and you wanted to show up for lawn mowing in your area for the service, to complete a lawn mowing service. So it's really important to have your keywords mapped out so you can create a proper site architecture on that topic. So on the topic of lawn mowing or gardening or anything like that. So for example, if you're a gardening business, and most gardening businesses in Australia do lawn mowing and sort of stuff, you want the site architecture to represent that. So for example, you would have your root domain, which is your website, and then you would have things like your services, and then you list out your services. So like gardening services, mulching services, planting services, you know, you go on, hedge trimming services. So you'd have all that out, and then you could have in your blog, you can have how-to guides, how to trim a hedge, how to install mulch, what are the best mulches for specific scenarios. For example, here we would use a product called gum bark because it stays on the slopes, it stays in the garden beds over the other mulches, which are the pine barks and all that stuff. They just come out of the garden beds because they're so light. So stuff like that, educational stuff. But you'll have a site architecture revolving around the one subject, which is gardening. So we really need to map out your keywords. So here, this Ahrefs has different tiers of the what it can show you the data to get you to upgrade to higher package pricing, higher price packages. But this one's just a basic. But to give you an idea, mowing growing is a brand related keyword. Lawn mowing Central Coast, we just type that in, showing up for it, that's good. Again, mowing and growing, Central Coast lawn mowing, some gardening services, maintenance services. So this is what you're picking up for. Tells you your position, what the traffic you're receiving from that keyword. Cost per click, so like what's the commercial value of that keyword. So if it's a high commercial value, so like $2, $10, $20, it's a signal that it's a valuable keyword because people are willing to spend money for people to click that keyword because they know it's going to convert. So we go through this. So this is what we would do in a stage 2 of the audit. Go through, map out all the keywords, and then, so why do you want to map out the keywords? Because you want to show up for a specific query when someone types it into Google. So if someone types into Google lawn mowing Central Coast, you want to be showing up first for that query. And there's ways that we do that by going in and altering the meta description. So what's the meta description? So here, this is a meta. This is the meta description. This is the title tag. So for example, if you want, so your main keyword would be lawn mowing Central Coast. So you would want your website to be targeting the main page. You want to be targeting that keyword. So what you do is you'd have mowing and growing, and then have a divider or whatever. And then you would have lawn mowing services Central Coast, if that was the right keyword. And the way that we can see if it's the right keyword is we go in and we can check a few different sites to see, to get as much data in as possible, so we can make an informed decision of which keywords to target. Usually people do Google AdWords, and then you can you get real time data. If someone's searching for that and they click on it, it tells you instantly, people are searching for that, and then that's the intent based on that search. So you go through all that, but to be honest, it's not too bad in terms of what you're targeting, but it could be a lot better. And the way that it could be a lot better, is changing the title tags, meta descriptions, that sort of stuff. But in terms of the URL structure, that's good. Mowing, growing services, lawn mowing could be better, but it's not terrible. So for example, the way it could be better is mowingandgrowing.com.au/services/lawn mowing Central Coast. So you're targeting very specific. You're not going to be going and servicing Maitland or Newcastle. You know what I mean? So lawn mowing Central Coast, and then there's other on-page stuff that you would do as well. So what do we got? Keywords. So we're sort of, keywords could be a lot better. It's not terrible. It could be a lot better. So that one's going to be a fail because of the you haven't got the location modifier at the end of it. So internal links to the page. So in doing SEO for websites, you know, the holy grail, the old way of doing it is, but people still do it now, is link building. So getting other websites to link to your website, and they pass authority to your website because it's like a referral. So if someone's, you know, Mrs. Jones down the street said, yeah, he does a good job, sort of thing, and so on, and they give you a referral. It's the same sort of thing, but from a different website. So that's external link building. So we want internal link building. So what do I mean by that? So we want to create internal links to our other pages. So if we go on to here, the main page, you know, we've got, this is an internal link. So we're going to your contact page. But what we want is things, so like if we had, so like, what are our services on the home page? What are our services? You say lawn mowing service, and then you'd be like, lawn mowing services for the button, and then it would link to your lawn mowing services page. So you do have that in the menu, but you definitely want that on the page. Same thing as, you know, you've got here residential, homes, commercial, all that. So another way that you would do the internal linking is like here, you've said, you know, you do retirement villages. So you would create a page, and it was only on that page, the information on that page was only about retirement villages and the services that you offer those retirement villages. But you would have the link here with the retirement villages. So for example, which is the best one? This one. So here, for example, we have screening plants, 15 of the fastest growing screening plants. Lily Pilly, we have a guide on a Lily Pilly, so we internally link from this guide to the Lily Pilly guide. And what it does is you have all of the information, like, so you've got this blog post here, you've got the Lily Pilly. So it's Google's going to see this as a more valuable page if you have a guide on screening plans, and then you link to another, like you mentioned Lily Pilly in this, and then you have a link going to a guide about Lily Pilly hedges. So it's comprehensive. So the same thing applies to like the retirement villages, that sort of stuff. So you create pages, Mowing Growing / retirement villages. And then you list off all the services in there, and then you link to your lawn mowing services page from there when you link. So you have like, you know, services, gardening services, regular maintenance services, lawn mowing services, all that sort of stuff. And then you'd link from that to your other your service pages. So what have we got? Internal linking. So you also want to link back to your home page. Where are we? So again, for example, on this blog post here, so here are the 15 of the best hedges recommended by us, Harvey's Lawn Care. It links back to the home page. Internal linking. So are we actually internally linking? So we got that. We got services, lawn. So no internal linking. So we could up the game on that. So no. So do the links in the footer work. So here you basically want an architecture like this. Get to the bottom of the page faster. So your menu, all your menu items, service areas, link to your full service area, your contact, so your address, phone number, email, and then your social links as well. You definitely want that in your footer, and to make sure that the links actually work. Sometimes they get changed. So it's Central Coast Mowing. Let's just check all these. Yep. And yes. So that's good. So it's a yes. So is your website sandbox? What do I mean by sandbox? So when you launch a new site, Google has no idea what that site is. It's trying to deliver the best user experience to its customers, so people searching on Google. So basically, if you're showing up in position 90 or 80, you're most likely sandboxed. So how to get out of sandbox? Publishing, making sure that your site's actually built out. So making sure that you've got an about us, gallery, all that sort of stuff. Getting reviews from Google My Business, that's a big one as well. But actually, just having an actual functioning website. You could run some stuff from Facebook to your website to get people actually going on your site. Pick up on Google Analytics. Google see that people are actually going to your site, engaging with the content, and that should get you out of the sandbox. You could be in the sandbox for 3 months or so, but you're definitely not in the sandbox. Otherwise, you wouldn't be showing up in 5th position on Google. You'd be showing up on page 10. So that's fine. So that's a yes. Sorry, that's a no. You're not sandboxed. About page, which I'm pretty sure I saw. Yeah, about us. That's good. So it's a yes. You've got an about page. Contact page. Yes, you've got that. So where are we? Yeah, that. So you're good for unsecure content. All your stuff secure. That's fine. So no. Favicon. So where are we? Yep, you got that. So that's just that icon, just the next to your name there in the tab. And so you've got that. Yes. Terms of service page. I don't believe you have that. Usually it's at the bottom. Check the sitemap. No. And I'll check the Buddy Max. Screaming Frog. Try this thing for a sec. Pretty sure you don't, but just to confirm, you don't. Just do a Screaming Frog call. So no, don't have terms of service page. So you definitely want terms of service, privacy policies page. Most people aren't going to read that, but it shows that your site is complete, like an overall complete site, like it's touched all the bases sort of thing. So definitely would be good to get that stuff in there. So it's just literally your domain name and then just policy page or privacy page and that sort of stuff. In terms of service, you can go online on Google and just type in term of service generator, And there's websites there. You can get free ones that just ask you a few questions about information in that, and it'll just generate one automatically. Some of the questions that I ask you, for example, if you're like an e-com store, and it asks if you're like, if you're an e-com store, I think you got to like pay like $5 for that, for it to add in that snippet for that specific category. But in regards to like what we're doing, it's not necessary to pay anything like that. You should be able to just get one for free. And as I said, you just go to Google, type in that, and you can get an auto-generated one. So we don't have a terms of service. We don't have a privacy policy. So we also want the ability to collect customers' information. So what do I mean by that? So you have something called an opt-in. So where do all our pages go? So you have something called an opt-in. So you have a paid opt-in and you have a free opt-in. So here we have a free opt-in, book a quote today, and your paid opt-in is obviously to book a service. So for your specific opt-in, so why do you want to opt in? 90% of everyone that goes to your website and doesn't opt in on the first engagement will never come back to your website again. Not directly, if you know what I mean. So you want a way to be able to capture potential clients' information, because it's going to take 6 to 10 interactions with that customer, building a relationship with that customer, for them to actually make a purchase. So for you, your videos, people constantly seeing your videos, they're building a relationship with you, they're knowing, liking, and trusting you, and then they'll watch a few of your videos and then give you a call. So an opt-in strategy to be able to begin a relationship with these customers, a method that you could use is give away a checklist. So it could be, a lawn care checklist. So basically a PDF, how to take care of your lawn throughout the season. So spring, autumn, winter, summer. What to do in those specific months, how frequent should you mow your lawn, when should you fertilize, core, aerate, all that sort of stuff. And then on your homepage, you say, don't forget to get your free lawn mowing checklist or lawn care checklist. They click the button, they put in their email address, and then you send them the checklist, and then they can get onto your newsletter sort of thing, where you promote more free content, just give away the value. It could be about the lawn care aspect of itself, like how to kill specific weeds in grass, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, have the ability to be able to capture most of your traffic that comes to your website, so then you can keep it top of mind for anyone that they might be in Gosford. They come across one of your videos, they watch it, they go to your website, and they say, "Oh, awesome! This is exactly what I need." But then, as all parents know, you get distracted, whether it's cooking dinner or the kid, your kids pop up and want to play or whatever. You go play with them, and you've forgotten all about the lawn mowing, and then it sort of just get blended in again with the crowd. So definitely want some sort of way that you can get the information of people visiting your website, so then you can send an email or something to them and just say, hey, just released another video, you know, this is what it's like to be in the life of, in doing lawn care or whatever. So there's no opt-in like that. So thank you page, no PDFs. There's no blog, so you don't have any indexation issues with the dates or authors or the post tags, that sort of stuff. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, with this screening plants, so this is the category, so you don't want your categories and tags indexed because it's just not relevant. You want the main pages, you know, you don't want thin content pages. It just devalues the website or brings the value of the website down because it's like cluttered. So instead of having like a really lean website where the URLs are only, you know, like high value information on specific services or whatever like that, you don't want like a, you know, you click on here, click on there and it's just rubbish, you know. So you don't have any of that, so that's fine. But when you do, if you do the blog, all that sort of stuff, and start doing content marketing, you just want to make sure that that stuff is not being indexed by Google, and you can do that. Well, with you, it's you just have a no index tag on the specific page because yours is custom. But if you had something like WordPress, you just download a plugin and just tell, you just click a button to say not to index. You don't have to worry about the WordPress directories being indexed because you're not on WordPress. You don't have any account pages, so that's fine. Attachments, go back to Screaming Frog. And we want to check category pages. You don't have any of that. So you don't have blog. Meta keywords. Right, so meta keywords was an old-fashioned way back in the day of like basically telling what Google what your site is about. So we'll just check that and see what we've got. The page source, and then we want what is it? Command F, and we want meta. What do we got? Meta name. So yes, you do have meta keywords. So you want to remove these. You don't want that in there. You want to have your keywords. You only want your keywords in like your title, meta description. So you want your keywords here. So if your main service was lawn mowing, which it obviously is, you want Mowing Growing, lawn mowing service or services, Central Coast. You would have to do your map out your keywords, which is what you would do in a stage 2 of the audit. So you know, it could be lawn mowing Central Coast and Mowing Growing separator, lawn mowing Central Coast. Your keyword is in there. Google understands that, you know, what's in the title and all the rest of it is what you're trying to go for in regards to the keywords you're trying to target. Same as the meta description. So you would have your keyword in here. So you would have Mowing and Growing are your lawn mowing and gardening maintenance specialist on Central Coast. So lawn mowing Central Coast, it's picking that up. You can see it, it's bolded there. It knows exactly what the page is about. We do like, are you looking for lawn mowing are you looking for a lawn mowing service in Hobart? So you want the keywords to be as close to the top as possible. And then you want the keyword as the as a H1, so like a heading, and that way it can pick that up as well. So for example, so this is a H3. I don't think. Just have a look, see if you actually got a H1. God damn it. Source. And then we can just do a find H1. That's just crap. That's CSS. Yeah, that's just CSS. So you don't actually have a H1. So in your title, what you would do, so for example here, let's go to services. Head. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, resource. Oh god, what's going on? What am I doing? Closing everything. Control F, H1, CSS. There we go. H1. Well, that's the class for the CSS, but H1. So this is telling what. This is telling what. Like this is H1, so the heading of the page. So you want to put your keyword in the heading of your page. So the keyword that we're targeting is hedge trimming Hobart. So it doesn't matter if there's a modifier at the end of it or whatever, but you just want your keyword in the heading. It's better if it's exact, but some variation of the keyword in the heading. So here, hedge trimming Hobart Taz. It allows Google to understand what your page is about. So, if you don't have a heading, you don't have it. If you don't have your keyword in your title description, your meta description, your H1, it's like, what's this page about? You know what I mean? Like if it's your lawn mowing service page and you don't have that stuff, it's like how is Google meant to know that that's what this page is about? You do have it in your meta description, which is good, or a variation of it. But to put it in your title tag, get rid of the meta keywords. You definitely want to get rid of that. That's old school. Get rid of that. Put it in your title tag. Keep it in your meta description and put a H1, just a heading. On that page, we're saying, look, if this is the keyword that you target, you have to do an in-depth analysis. But lawn mowing Central Coast. So that is, I've lost my, where are we? Get my checklist up. So you do have meta keywords, so you definitely want to get rid of them. So categorized URL structure, that's fine. So in regards to the pages, with Screaming Frog, so we're going to see if you've got any pages that just aren't. So if you say had your lawn mowing page and you just got rid of it, you just deleted that page, but you didn't tell Google, well, not that you didn't tell Google, but that you haven't, so basically, if Google goes and crawls that, it'll give it a status code. So 200 means, yep, that's fine, the URL's there. 301 is this link did exist, but it's moved to here, to this URL. Or it'll give it a 404. So 404 just means that there is no page there. So you don't want 404s. You want to go, unless you like actually did remove it, but you always want to try and, if it was index, you want to try and 301 redirect it. So if we can go to HTML, or so we've got 301, but that's fine. It's just the unsecure version of the website redirecting to the secure version. That's fine. But in regards to any pages that we're removing or anything, that's all fine. They're all 200s. That's fine. So there's no 404s. There's no 302s. That's fine. So again, we don't have access to Search Console, so we can't tell if there's any manual penalties, if the sitemap's been submitted, which I highly doubt because there is no sitemap. There's also, you want to check for competing URLs. That's not, no, that'd be fine. Just back in a sec. Alrighty. Back up and running. Sorry guys, just had to go to the toilet. So, alrighty, where are we? Sorry I'm all over the place, guys, with this. This is my first, well, not my first YouTube video, but my first live stream, and teaching or going through an audit with SEO. I'm not the best articulating articulating this stuff. It's not my strongest point, but practice makes perfect, and it allows me to solidify my knowledge and be able to share it. If I knew this stuff when I was starting out, it would have been in a much different place, because we would have had a lot more exposure in the marketplace. But anyway, get back on to the audit. Where are we at? So, do we have multiple keywords competing for the same page? So the way that we find that out is in Google Search Console. So basically what you want to do is go to Google Search Console, which I'm struggling to find. There we go. So we did have issues with this. So the way that we got our the way that we got our instant lawn page beginning to actually rank for instant lawn, and beginning the marinating process, so we can optimize to get that first place ranking. Is that we had an issue with our landscaping page. So our landscaping page was actually cannibalizing our rankings for the instant lawn page. So what does that mean? So both pages, so the instant lawn page and the landscaping page, were competing for the exact same keyword, which was instant lawn Hobart. So what we had to do is we had to, I'm going to suck at this, but what is it? I forget the exact term and I suck at saying it, but we basically had to tell Google, hey, don't rank our landscaping page for this keyword, rank our instant lawn page for this keyword instead. So that was just an example of the issue that we ran into. So how to tell that? So what you do is you just come into your Google Search Console. I do by country because we're in Australia. I don't think it matters. And we want to go to probably the instant lawn page is going to be the best because they actually had the issue. What am I doing? What's going on? Just sorry, usually it sorts it out and it's just on the second page, but we can do it a different way. Why is it doing that? Pages, sort. There we go. Install. Thank you. So all right. So instant lawn. So with stuffing this up. Let's try this one more time. All right. So we want to go to query. What's our keyword? So instant lawn Hobart. So we would do this per page, which I was just trying to show before, but it would be easier this way. So what's our keyword? Instant lawn Hobart. What pages is this keyword? What pages are Google ranking for this keyword? So we go to pages. We can see there's a few in here. So the ones that are getting actual traffic is the landscaping. So this is what I mean by how we changed the total site architectures. We actually went from this architecture into this architecture. So we just added the services in there. But so what was happening is this page, this landscaping page, was actually competing for the instant lawn page for this keyword, which was instant lawn. So what we did is we told Google, hey, don't rank this page, rank the other page. And that's what you can see there. So it sort of dropped off there. So that is making sure. So what you do is you go through and you just make sure you go into your pages. This is another way to do it. It's basically the same way. You go into pages like this, go in, what's it ranking for? So you can see that it's ranking for instant lawn Hobart. Click on that. And then you can get rid of the page. And then you can see what pages it's ranking for. So you go in for each of your main pages to see, if we've got some cannibalization of the keyword. For the rankings. So 2 pages fighting over the one keyword. You don't want that. So I've gone in and fixed that up on ours. Yours, which I just remember we're actually doing the audit for your website. So are the pages competing for the same other pages competing for the same keywords? Wouldn't be able to tell you on. You could do it with Google if you went in and searched all of it. You had to look at the the title tags, meta descriptions, all the rest of it. I'm going to assume that the brand's name, Mowing Growing, that is being cannibalized, but I wouldn't be able to tell unless I got into the Search Console and looked at the data there. So I'm not sure that's just going to do NA because we don't have access to it. So the URL, the URL. So you definitely want to. I would suggest put your keyword to. You've got the services, lawn mowing, mowing growing services, lawn mowing. Definitely would add, change that URL structure to lawn mowing Central Coast. That way you can rank higher, you'll be able to rank higher for that specific term. I'm going to assume, without doing any of the keyword research, that that's your main keyword. So yeah, it definitely could fix the URL structures up. Wouldn't be able to tell you if the site map is submitted because you it doesn't look like you have a sitemap at all, which you definitely want to fix. Manual penalties, you wouldn't be able to tell that unless you're in Search Console, which we don't have access to. Google Analytics, so do you actually have the correct URL for your conversions goals? Wouldn't be able to tell you that because we don't have access to the Google Analytics. The way that you would know if that was happening is that you would, if someone submitted book a job request, you down the bottom on the main homepage, you'd be able to see your goal conversions. It'll show up there. Alrighty, so schema markup. So schema markup is basically a language that Google or that came together and said we need to create a standard so we can tell what the hell these pages are. So basically, schema markup, probably easy just to show you exactly what it is. So take the home page. So there's something called a structured data testing tool, which is what schema markup is. It's structured data. Structured data testing tool. Click into that. What we can do is we can put our address in here, website address. So it only shows you the schema markup on the specific page that you put in here, like the address. So just run test. It'll crawl the website, have a look and see if any schema is on there. So there's no schema on there. So you definitely want to put schema on there to give you an idea of what schema markup looks like. We can put our website in. So because it's not on the home page, we're going to assume it's not on any of the pages. So schema markup, there's all different types. So you want the right type for the right page. So for example, with your home page, you want local business schema markup. For your services page, you want service schema markup. So what's the difference between all these schema markups? It just contains, like, if it's a local business, it tells Google you're a local business, and it'll have all the details associated with that schema type. So for a local business or for service type, service, the address, the name of the provider, the service type, house streaming, where are you servicing, Hobart, a local business is conducting this service, Harley's Lawn Care, and then the picture of it, what's the price range, So it's just telling Google what this page is about. So the way that you would put this on your site, because your site is hard-coded, so it's a developer's gone in and built the site, you can basically, so you can go to schema.org. It's really confusing, or I find it confusing to be able to just get the right thing, because it's just a terrible layout. But what you can do is you can go into a site that actually has schema properly implemented, and you can click on it, and then you just click on one of the fields there, and you can see here on the left hand side here we have schema. So what we can do is we can actually copy this. This might take a while. But basically what you do is you just copy the schema from the code from the site, and then you can, to make sure that you've done it properly, you can enter the code snippet in here, run the test, and then it'll tell you if there's any errors or anything. If there's a warning, it just means like something, you know, should be put in there. Sometimes some plugins for like WordPress, which is what I use, they don't actually have the ability to put this in, unless you like pay for the premium version or the rest of it. But it's not, you know, it would be good if it was in there, but it's not, you know, catastrophic. If you had errors, that's when it becomes an issue. So there's also schema markup generators that you can just basically, you just put your details in, you press you know, generate the schema markup, it'll give you the code, and then you can take that code, always check it in here. So just get the code, paste it in there, run the test. If it doesn't come up with any errors, put it on your site, and then yeah, so you definitely want schema markup. So there's another type of markup which is called OG data. So OG data is basically for social media sites. So like when you go and you say post something on Facebook, you put the link, you get that box that pops up with like a preview. That's OG data. So you can do the Facebook book debugger. Facebook debugger. That one I'm pretty sure it is. You gotta log in and all the rest of it. But you just, yeah, you go into the Facebook debugger. Where is it? Anyway, you go into the Facebook debugger, you log in, you'll ask you for the URL, you put the URL in, you submit it, and then it'll show you what it would show if someone shared that link. So for example, if you said, hey, we do lawn mowing, put lawn mowing service page in there, and you did a post, and then someone shared that post, it would be the preview underneath that post. So yeah, you definitely want that. For that, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure how to implement that hard-coded, like using, you know, like a hard-coded website, because I've only used content management systems, or implemented this stuff in content management systems like WordPress. But I'm going to assume it's exactly the same as what it would be with the schema markup. So you can just go into the site, could probably even try and find it, to be honest. FOG. Anyway, so yeah, I use a plugin for that, and it automatically generates it, but I'm going to assume you'll be able to do the same thing. There'll be a generator you'll be able to use to be able to put it into hard-coded websites. So OG, I'd have to sign in. Just give me 1 sec, I'll sign in, see if we can see what see if we do have it. There we go. Alrighty, let's check this back in here. Bug. So it is picking up OG data. Cool. Awesome. So this is OG data. So basically, you know, if you wanted to change the photo or the description or whatever, you would do it in the OG data for when people shared your link, your page, or that sort of stuff, this page and all the rest of it. So you do have OG, that's good. Whether all the pages have OG, you'll have to check. Sorry if you can hear that, guys. My son is having a ball in the next room. see if we've got a normal page. Didn't like that. I'm not sure if that's because it building or just doesn't want to work. Let's try a different page. Garden maintenance. So here's a perfect example. So there's no image for this. So that's pretty much, if someone shared this page, this is what it would look like. So, you know, it's a missed opportunity to put your best foot forward sort of thing with that. So OG is not on all pages. You know, it's not terrible, but you know, it's a missed opportunity. So no. So schema markup. So back to the schema markup. So your home page. So for your home page, so there's two types of schema markup that you want to put on your homepage, either be local business or organizational. So organization schema markup is basically if you have a national site. So if you got like multiple locations, Sydney, Melbourne, you know, Tasmania, that's when you want to have organizational markup. If you're a local business, so if you only service, you know, for example, you know, Central Coast, you know, Newcastle, that sort of stuff, you would have local business. So that's that. So we already had a look. You don't have schema markup, so that doesn't apply. Definitely want to get that. Local business markup, don't have. Blog markup, don't have. Breadcrumbs, you didn't have any, so that's fine. So breadcrumbs is basically, here we go, breadcrumbs. So it just lists out the sort of like the links that are on that page. Pretty sure that's yeah. So this breadcrumbs just basically has a set of links that can help a user understand and navigate a website. All I know is that you should have breadcrumbs enabled. The exact purpose of it, I was a little bit confused just then, because from what I believe it was for the like the links on that page to navigate to. But anyway, definitely want breadcrumbs. So you don't have any blogs or anything like that. Can't have errors if you don't have schema. So plugins, you don't have that because you're not WordPress. Google My Business, so you are crushing it there. On Mowing Coast. So you're doing good there, man. Mowing Growing. So what do we got? We got So I'm not sure what's service area. Cool. So you got your service area. That's cool. So you got that. That's filled out. Correct hours. Cool. So yep, just make sure that your hours are. So with your website, you should have your hours on there, your operating hours. So it's called. So basically, you want all of this information. So your website, your name, your address or service location, your hours, all that sort of stuff, consistent across all platforms. So like Facebook, your website, Google My Business, Yellow Pages if you're on Yellow Pages, all that sort of stuff. So you want it all consistent, all the same, but you've got your hours there, which is cool. Multiple categories. So, you know, can't. So multiple categories. You want sort of like for us, we've got lawn care, gardening business, I think lawn mowing as well. So the different categories of the services you offer. We also do like gutter cleaning, that sort of stuff. So we've got them in our services as well. Just whatever you do, do not edit your I think it's primary service. I think it is. If you edit your primary service or you edit your address location, Google basically frees your Google My Business, and then you'll need to verify your business again. So you'll have to send out a postcard again. But yeah, do not touch them. But you can add additional service categories, and you won't need to go through the postcard. Hours. Let's see if you do actually have your hours on your website. Not that I can see about us. So yeah, you don't have your hours. Check your hours on there. So we got multiple categories. Can't actually see that from the side. Responding to reviews, yes, definitely want to respond to reviews. It's a Google ranking factor. Yeah, you definitely want to be responding to each review, even as you said, to say thank you. That's it. Just yeah, respond to every single review you get, negative or positive. So what else we got? So another thing you want to watch out for is keyword stuffing in your title tags. So for example, if you're going for like lawn mowing, you don't want to have like lawn mowing Central Coast, we mowed lawns, lawn mowing. Use, Google. You don't need to stuff the keywords in there for Google to understand what the page is about. You just need to mention it once or twice in the title tag, meta description, and then that'll be fine. You don't have that issue. That's not applicable. You haven't got any questions, so you can't answer them. Posts, you want to be doing the posts as well. So in Google My Business, you have the ability to do posts. When you do posts, they'll actually show up here in your card, and it just adds an extra thing. So you could add your videos in there, you could do photos, whatever. But definitely use the post. Include your keywords in the post as well. So promotions, that's like AdWords, that sort of stuff. Definitely want to be continuously posting content. So photos, heaps of photos. Keep posting the photos all the time. Constantly posting photos. Same as the posts. So you want. So even though that you have a service area, you still want a service location photo. So it doesn't need to, like, you don't need to take a photo of your house or whatever, but you just want like a photo of saying like, even if it's like the office chair. So you can be like, this is the Mowing Growing's office chair, just in the location photos. So you want three location, three location photos of inside, outside. Like, again, it doesn't need to be like a photo of the house. It could be just a photo of the Mowing Growing's office plant, and just take a photo of the plant, like a plant. So yeah, you want three service photos. You get plenty of them. Inside location, outside location, and three team photos. I've noticed you got them, whether they're in the correct category. So yep, cool. Inside, you got three of them. Doesn't look like there's any location videos. Not location videos, team videos, photos. So you want three team photos. So you got service photos. You got the outside location photos. You just want the three inside location photos. Again, doesn't need to be anything crazy. What else we got? Citations. Cool. So what do we got? So what are citations? So citation is basically another website, your details on another website. So for example, a real common one for the service industry in Australia is pink pages. I see that a lot. But another one, things like Gumtree, YouTube, Yellow Pages, that sort of stuff. So we can do that. So you use a website called White Spark, and this will find your local citations. What we got? Sources, tools, local citation put up. You've got to log into this. Log in. So we get this up. So just a local citation finder. Launch that. It'll ask for some details of the business. They've changed this a bit. New campaign. So command test, business name. Let's make sure we get it all right. Mowing Growing. Mowing Growing, phone number. That one. Copy. So what this is going to do is going to check and see if you can find these details on other websites. So the reason why it's these specific details is because you want the consistency. So it's just like saying, you say you ask Billy down the street, what's Mowing Growing's phone number? It's this number, and it wants to be the same number. It's sort of the same thing, to bring it sort of an example that I can sort of explain. But yeah, so you just basically want all these sites to have a consistent, consistency, name, address, website, and phone number on these different websites, which I'll show in a sec. So it'll just be lawn mowing, Australia, suburb. This be Central Coast. Central Coast, New South Wales. Great campaign. It really changed this. Test. We're fetching your data now. Cool. Searches. It's just all my stuff. It's going down here. There we go. So it's just going through all the sites to see if it can find that specific information on these different sites. As I said, I think it was pink pages. I can show you some of our previous searches. So it doesn't show you all of them because it's the free version, but as you can see, like, it's all these exact names, exact websites, exact phone number, the exact address are on these websites. It shows you the domain authority, so how trustworthy is this domain. So, you know, aussieweb.com, So what you do is you go in and you check what your, so they change this a lot. So what your citations are, and if they're consistent, you can get citations done for you. So you can pay someone, I believe it's like $100. So here we go here. So basically it's showing you it's found 16 citations with these details on various websites. And then it will show you what your competition actually has as well. So, you know, you're on Bing, you're on True Local, you're on Higher Pages, you're on Hot Frog, you're on Where It's all good. And this is a reason why you'll be ranking high in the Google Maps. So opportunities, you know, you can compare to your competition. So what is what web pages has your competition listed their stuff on that you haven't? So you can go in and create an account with that website, put your information on there as well. But it's just basically, you know, it's sort of like a referral. Basically, these websites are saying, yes, this is Mowing and Growing. These are their their details, and it's all consistent. It's all congruent. So what do we got here? So citation, you got plenty of citations. Like, this tool doesn't pick up all of them. There's plenty of citations there. So yes, plenty of citations. So your inconsistency, so you just want to check and make sure that all these pages, you know, that they're all the exact same. You know, so if you type in Mowing Growing, you want to make sure that they're all the same details on all these different pages. So for example, the phone number, you know, 0418 167. Where's the thing? 041. I'm going to assume that. No, just click on it. 0418 167. Yep. 0418 167. So you see what I mean about the consistency. You do the same with the website, which I'm pretty sure they are as well, and then the address as well. So that's your citation and making sure they're consistent. So that's fine. If you're struggling with the maps and that, definitely be a good idea, which you're not, but it'd definitely be a good idea to go in and see what your competitors. So page speed optimization. So we identified before that, you know, a page is over 3 seconds. It's not terrible. But some of the things that you can do to increase your page speed load times are leveraging caching, browser side caching, minifying the JavaScript CSS. You can do things like basically replace the I forget what it's called, but you basically load the just the content that the person can see, and it loads the other content like after it's loaded that, so it takes priority of what is actually in view. You can do things like server-side caching. So, for example, when we first launched our site, we didn't have that, and our site speed was like 8 seconds or something like that. And you'll see that. So in this drop down that you can see there, I can't click on it to show you, but on that drop down that you can see there, how it's got blocking, DNS, connecting, SSL, all that stuff. If you see receiving, I think it was receiving. It might have been sending. One of them, receiving or sending. You'll see in there that it's like 4 seconds or whatever, and that signifies that you haven't got server-side caching. So you go in and you got things like light speed, cache, and all the rest of it, and you activate that. I'm not exactly sure how you would implement that with a hard-coded website, because as I said, I use WordPress, that sort of stuff. So yeah, other things are CDNs, so content delivery network. So basically, it stores, from my understanding, I might get this wrong, but it basically stores an image, or stores a version of your website on different, like a network of servers. So that, say, for example, someone from the UK is wanting to access your website, go to your website, rather than the person from UK connecting to a server in Sydney, it connects to a server in the UK that has the exact same, like the exact website, like an image of your website. So it just reduces the page speed times for people, overseas and all the rest of it. Things like images. So if you didn't run your images through something like TinyPNG, I think another one is WP Smoosher, I think it is. Your file sizes could be like 10 megabytes, 5 megabytes, whatever. So you run them through that compression algorithm, or that compression service, and it spits out the image the quality is a little bit less, but it's fine. But it could reduce the size of the file by like 85%. So that brings down the total wait time of having to download that image per se, to be able to display it on the screen. So things like that. But the reason why I say use the waterfall feature, because it tells you exactly what's taking time. You know what I mean? Like if you have a look in here, what's one of the big ones that stick out? So like these images, I'm going to assume that these images are the thumbnails for your social links and all the rest of it. Like they're taking just a bit over half a second to download or to display on the client side. So there's a few things there, but there's a whole kettle of fish of the page speed optimization. But yours isn't too bad, to be honest. Leverage server-side caching, and then it should be fine. You should get that speed down. One thing I did forget to mention is where your website is hosted can affect the speed. So for example, if you've got hosting in the US and we're connecting from Australia, it's obviously going to take more time to connect. So having a local server hosted is much better, especially if that's the area you're servicing. But then you can speed that up with CDNs. You can also go from something like shared hosting, which can bog your site down, because it's like hosting 10 or whatever site, like heaps of sites on one server, and they're all fighting for the resources. Or you can have your site on a VPS, which is a virtual private server, and basically the resources like if you get a VPS and there's 2 sites on it, you will have 50% of those resources for your site. So it just means, like, you know, you're not fighting for the resources. You have a dedicated amount instead of, you know, first come first serve. So that is page speed optimization. As I said, it's not too bad, but it could, you know, there's some simple fixes. I wouldn't know how to fix this because it's on the, like personally myself, because it's a hard-coded site. But if it was on WordPress, there's just a couple of clicks of the button to fix that. Mobile friendly, yes. There's a website, the Google website you can use. Is my website mobile friendly? But I can tell you yours is. So you want breadcrumbs on your website, social media on the site. You did have that, yes. You need. It'd be a good idea to have a call to action above the fold. On that on your homepage or any high traffic page. That way you can get more conversions. Proper site navigation, yes. But yeah, other than that, man, site's pretty good. There's heaps of opportunities that you could do with your site. In regards to, like, from an SEO perspective, just in regards to, you know, having more content on the site itself, whether it be video or text-based, through a blog, teaching people, you know, how to mow a lawn or whatever, tips about mowing a lawn, starting a business, whatever. All that will do is send more traffic to the website and give you more topical relevance and authority. Call to action above the fold on the homepage. So yeah, definitely want to have a look at that. Same as the service pages. Like, you want the call to action. So what are we here for? We want to book a quote now. You do have it up here, but people would just look at that and scroll straight past. But you know, on the mobile version, that's pretty good. Could be, you know, I said, could book a quote online, have a big button or whatever. But that's a design thing. Site architecture is, you know, pretty good. Services, lawn mowing. You could have your keyword once doing a stage 2 of the audit, mapping out the keywords. So what are the most valuable keywords for your business? So let's say, for example, you had, so you identified that commercial lawn mowing Central Coast was a high searched, or like a valuable keyword to have. So you would create a page, you know, Mowing Growing / you know, commercial lawn mowing Central Coast, and then that page would have a heading of commercial mowing Central Coast, the meta description that shows up on Google. The first portion of that meta description would be commercial lawn mowing Central Coast, the exact keyword on pulled to the left hand side of the title, and then have like a qualifier on the right hand side of that. So like consistent commercial lawn mowing or whatever. And then yeah, in your meta description, you would have you know, just a brief overview, you know, talking about whatever it was. So that was commercial. Then you would have one for, like, well, I don't know, really, you have to identify what these keywords are and map it out. But yeah, that's an overall view. Other than that, man, your local game is strong. Like, that's good that you're showing up first for that keyword. And no doubt is where you're driving most of your traffic from on Google. But yeah, you know, there's always room for improvement on any site. But yeah, I hope that you guys found this valuable. I know it may have been a little bit all over the place, but I'm, you know, as I said, I'm getting started with this YouTube stuff, and yeah, hopefully or definitely will be doing more of these videos in the future. So if you had a gardening business or a landscaping business or something like that, be more than happy to do a free stage 1 SEO audit, and point out a few of these things that you could improve on. Off the screen, I've got a template that I use to go through all this stuff, and then whether you get us to implement these changes or someone else, you have a list of everything you need to fix for this site or for your site. But yeah, hit us up anyway. We will be doing more live audits. Hopefully it'll be more structured. Won't be so long, but is sort of getting the format of these audits. Being the first time doing live, you sort of get stuck in going and explaining stuff. But yeah, that's so cool. We'll get